from the studios in beautiful Oceanport, New Jersey. Welcome to the biggest and greatest podcast ever. I'm your host, Ray K. Hey, everybody. This is going to be quite a show. I mean, it's serious, and I have a special guest on my show today. I've actually known this gentleman for, I think it's about 20 years. I was thinking about that. Time flies. And I didn't know it at the time, but Ron T has taken some turns that are just almost mind-boggling. I met him within the last week, and he was gracious to come on our show. And we're going to talk about his rise up into corporate America, then sliding into his addictions, going into even homelessness, having survived a massive heart attack, heart transplant, what that's like, and then where he is today. So, Ron T., welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Ray. I'm more than welcome to be here.
Okay, I appreciate that, because this is sort of a public service. We want to tell people, about this, because this is serious. So why don't you start, Ron, just when you're starting out, you're in corporate America, living seems like a normal life, and then you slide into the addictions from there.
Yeah, first off, I want to say what I speak is my experiences, my opinions. And yet I do see a lot of it out there. So, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do, but it's good to be informed of what could happen.
Right, from your experiences. And then,
yes.
Right, okay.
Okay, it really just started as a young. I bring this up because as a little kid, you're playing poker, you're having fun in the garage, you're doing little things, and I don't know if that was the beginning of my journey, but I did that with my friends. As time went on, most of my friends quit high school. They, hung out, and they thought they could make it so simply, but that wasn't the case. I was very fortunate. I went back, finished high school, actually finished the technical institute, wound up moving away, having some very lovely, well-to-do jobs down in Florida. Came back to Jersey, got another degree in business, and from there I started in one technical job, and my expertise became global operations, things of that nature.
All right, so things are going pretty good. It's not like you had a decent little childhood. You go into college, now you got a job. The usual track that we all seem to be brought up on. So things seem to be going good at this point. But go ahead.
Oh yeah. It was like you name it. It was nice. Excellent pay, prestige, feeling good for myself. And then one day somebody told me, asked me if I'd like to go to Atlantic City with them, and so I'm doing my little things. And,
now, how old were you, Ron, when they asked you this? Like what's the age?
I think I came back from Florida. I had some gambling blood in me because I'd sneak off to prior to this. I'd sneak off and play ponies, dogs, things of that nature.
Okay.
I was about probably 23 when I got fortunate. I brought a couple $100 down to Atlantic City, and I thought it was big at the time. I won about $3,000.
Okay.
And that was the start of my fall.
Oh, okay. Because you thought it was easy, and then
I don't know what it was. I was like, wow, look how easy it is to make this money, and why should I work if I can make $2,000-$3,000 every visit? So
okay,
I was they call it dreaming the dream. It was starting on me very heavily. So.
All right, so you won the $2,000, and now you got that. I don't know if it's the addiction, an addiction, or you got this feeling. So go from there. What happens now?
Yeah, from there, it was amazing. Out of nowhere, I would pick up on jobs and start. Everything just happened. I wouldn't give a damn about nothing. I was the gambling blood was in my veins. And when you're a bad compulsive gambler, when you have 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't do something, one reason why you should, and you wind up doing that, that one reason move.
So the one reason knocks out the other 999 reasons not to. The one reason is so overpowering, you got to fly down to Atlantic City and get that charge. Like what's it like? Like what was so attractive about it to you?
everybody's different, but I have that compulsive, the high energy in me, addictive personality. So it was interesting because even at a young age, I enjoyed just basic things in life like everybody else, a cold beer on the weekend maybe, a joint or something. But it was interesting. All of a sudden, none of that mattered. The rush and the thrill of gambling through my veins took me over. I was in dream world. Nothing mattered. My family, this, I hate to say it that way, but that's what happens. You live for your dream, and the dream is gambling. So, and
is it like a high, like if someone is like drunk? Is it like what's it feel like? Is it possibly even to describe it?
I would, even up to, well, I'll continue at the base, but
okay.
The disease takes you over. It's a rush. I was like everybody else, normal life. You like nice things in life. You enjoy sex. You enjoy all that didn't matter. None of that mattered. All that mattered was me getting in the car, taking $500 or $1,000 and gambling in Atlantic City. But that was just the beginning of it too, Ray.
Okay.
Once that started, then the sports betting, the bookies that are out there, and you surround yourself with the ugly environment. That's all there is to it. So,
So the gambling went into sports gambling too. I went in from.
Oh yeah, this was well before sports gambling was legal in New Jersey. Even online casino gambling before anybody knew about that. We talked about from corporate. I don't want to miss too much because there's so much involved.
Yep.
But I'll tell you
Take
this.
your time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wound up getting a divorce in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
My ex-wife. I was devastated, but the truth of the matter is. I deserved it in so many ways. I was borrowing money from everybody. My brother-in-laws were kind enough to lend me thousands, and unfortunately, my dream took over. So, that's all I lived for, like I said. But as time went on with everything, I'd find bookies and, oh my goodness. It started small. Let me bet $50 on a Monday night game. That's fun. And, oh shucks, I'm in trouble. Let me bet 100, 200, 500. It's crazy, and even baseball's even worse because the odds are so high. So I wound up every time I turned around, my life was I call it chasing the gambling and then running from the gambling, because after the usually it was an ugly ending, and I wouldn't want to be part of it. So there was so many things I did. I'm not proud of them, but it's better to be honest. Right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that really what I did. Here's an example. I turned around and this one young bookie, I owed $10,000. That's crazy money, right? Yeah.
Well, you start thinking now you're dealing with some seedy, weird areas. You got to worry about your life at some point, I would think.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, here's an example how it made me an ugly person too. I owed $10,000. Next thing you know is I spoke with somebody else in the family about this jerk that I owe a lot of money to, and he had a friend in the FBI. And next thing you know, I hate to say it, this guy gets busted for
for gambling. for whatever they call illegal bookmaking or whatever that.
So
this guy owed you $10,000. You owed him $10,000. He credited you the money, I guess, on the bets. It builds up. He's pressuring you for the money. You know somebody. You know what this guy's doing, and he gets in trouble.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, unfortunately, yeah, and then
which you probably should get in trouble.
Of a bailout. You want a bailout.
Right.
When reality hits, you don't realize. When I look back now, I'm not proud of that. Or, you're with the bookie and you're saying, "Oh, okay, I owe say $1,500. It doesn't matter. And I bet $1,000 to try to get out of it. So I bet $1,000, and I said I took Green Bay. Well, Green Bay lost, and now all of a sudden on the phone, he goes. The bookie would say, "Oh, sorry to hear that, Ron. What happened in Green Bay? I said, what are you talking about? I took Tampa Bay. And
oh, okay. So you were turning the tables on the thing, like he put the wrong bet in.
Yeah, so it was just,
okay.
Okay. the only way I could make any money was to beat a bookie. So
you would blow that bookie off because I'm imagining there's probably a lot of bookies, and then you blow him off, and then you just get another one. I mean, there's always like another sweater, as they say. There's always another.
Yeah, because they're not gonna. They really, they're not gonna,
Right, because you're dealing in some bad areas. They're not
going to break your leg and arm, but I'm sure there's people. I knew a guy that bet $50,000 on a game, and he lost. But that's something I want to share with you because we don't realize it, and a lot of people don't realize that the gambling is that deep disease. So not only is it the gambling that affects me, I'm watching the gambling that will affect New Jersey, that will affect the youth of tomorrow. A lot of the young population, they do not realize that the gambling will replace all the other compulsive diseases. So I have family and I have friends and I know many people that what they do is that they're on a program to stop their drinking or drugs. So they're doing that, they're doing well, and then all of a sudden somebody says, "Hey man, you guys want to bet on some games down, bet on some sports games?" All of a sudden the young guys think it's okay to replace the sports gambling instead of the drugs. They think, okay, everything's fine now. What you're doing actually is you're replacing one addiction with another, and then before you know it, you're going to be back in a deep hole because of the gambling. And what do you think is going to happen? They're going to go right back to the other addictions.
The drugs, they go back and forth. They'll go back to the other ones that lose the money in that one.
And only I see it, so it's not just me. And I mean, I've been to Gamanon. I've been through a lot. So I mean,
well, what do you think about this New Jersey gambling? I mean, what do you think about this whole thing? It's right here in Monmouth Park where I am. I mean, people are going there, billions of dollars, of revenues coming in. So people are losing money, I guess. What do you think of this whole thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My opinion is this. It's not a matter. I mean, if you want to make income off the people, fine. But excuse me 1 second. Mm-hmm. This is what I oppose to. Governor Murphy, sure, yeah, let's make money off it. But let me tell you something. This is going to addict. Like how many kids and teenagers and adults play video games?
Millions.
Now all of a sudden, I'm just saying, right? People get addicted to the games. Now all of a sudden, the games are going to be the sports and this and that, and they're going to replace. A lot of video games are going to be replaced by slot machines. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you addicted, and I'm sure there's a lot of people already addicted.
Oh, so the video games want to get you addicted because of the bigger picture of the gambling addiction? Is that as sinister as this thing can get? Okay.
Oh, that's as close as they could get to you, and then try this for free, right? So they're sucking people in, and then next thing you know is that's fun. But how would you like to win $50? You tell me what 18 or 21-year-old or 16-year-old wouldn't want to win $50 or $100, and to me, it's going to be a unleashing of a disease. And the problem is this. This is where that bothers me. The state says, okay, let's curb down the addiction, this and that, but let's increase the gambling. I mean, they have no programs in lower level schooling, a high school. There should be one class where the whole school gets together, or in each homeroom, but go over it. Let them know what could happen. A lot of these kids are going to have no idea what happens. They're going to be athletes. They're going to be playing. They're going to think it's cool to gamble. And you watch what happens. You watch.
And there's no education at all now, currently.
Zero. And let that be known. If anyone's listening, I hope I've been twittering and tweeting and asking and begging Mr. Murphy to at least have some training, just something, awareness program for the high school students or even the middle school students, instead of saying, "Go ahead, it's okay to gamble." That's just my opinion. I'm infuriated they can't spend a little bit of money like that. Just are you they all they ever say is you or somebody have a gambling problem, call this number. Wait, how did we get here? And that's all. I believe that's essential.
Now in gambling, Ron, everyone thinks they could beat the system. I guess that's the thing. Like there's millions of people betting, and they all think they could beat the system, but probably less than 1/10 of 1% can do it that are professional. Probably gamblers. That's all they do. And I get it. I know some people seem to make a living at it, but everybody else, there really is no way to win this system. Correct? I mean, you're going to lose all your money if you start gambling. I mean,
yeah. Okay, let's put it this way: the person that makes that one big bet is probably rare as hell. Okay? And but the average person, like I said, what happened? Win or lose, maybe it doesn't matter. But in my case, I won a little bit, so that opened the floodgates for me. But if you look at all the methods of the gambling, in my case, I was even before those casinos and all that good stuff. I was playing around a little bit. I'd sneak off and I would go to Monmouth Park and bet a couple of horses, and it was amazing. And I always felt I was a good luck person, so I could go there. There could be 10 horses. I bet 9 of them, and the 10th one comes out. So you never know. I mean,
so you were like that guy Mush in like Bronx Tale, like the guy that could never win.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, I said, no, let me play a game of chance. So as I progressed, believe it or not, I consider myself a very fortunate gambler because I could start with a very low amount and not in the horses, forget them, but a very small amount, say in a casino or something like that, and I build it, but you know what? I never take it with me. I keep on playing.
There you go. That, you walking away. You didn't walk away. Like Ron, through all the years.
Yeah.
You're talking 1999. You're from there. So you're gambling a long time. So you're surviving. So are you literally making paychecks, going to the casinos or going to the sports bookie and just throwing it all away each week, and then you make your next check the next week, and it just keeps repeating itself? You get it behind on the bookie, and then maybe you blow that guy off. I mean, is this what the cycle is becoming? Now you're into your upper 30s now. Is this continual for the last 15 years?
Let's put it this way. So many things that occurred in terms of myself. I was gambling. I was, continue. When I got the divorce, that was probably the worst thing. I mean, it was hard enough for me because I always was a family man.
Well, divorce is stressful to begin with, so you got that going against you.
Well, right. The divorce gave me the okay because my ex-wife, who was wonderful, she had to give me $90,000 cash because we both owned the house.
So, okay. I think I know where this is going, but go ahead.
Yeah, right. and what happens is, an addictive gambling person will hide his compulsion inside. He'll wait for what's he waiting for, Ray? What were we just talking about? The one reason why. Right. Okay. So my ex gives me my $90,000 cash. I put it into the bank, $50,000 in mutual funds, and the rest in a regular, checking account, savings account. I've never had that kind of money like that. Mm-hmm. So and I'm making $60 something $1,000, supervisor with MCI WorldCom and. Concurrent computer, net moves, some big technology.
Not bad, right? You got some income, you got a little money in the bank right? Now. Okay, right.
Nice red Eclipse convertible, living a nice lifestyle, enjoying life, doing the things I want to, Who couldn't ask for more? But my life was empty, okay? My life was empty. But when she did want that divorce, I was like, wow. So I think I thought I had everything in the world. Now listen to this. From 1999, when the divorce occurred, my credit was, I think, probably the highest ever. I could write a check for $20,000-$30,000, okay, at any credit firm. But what had happened was, so I'm making that money. By the year 2001. I was lucky. Right before 9/11, they allowed people to still bankrupt pretty easily. by that time, I had accumulated $100,000 in credit card debt. I had lost my job. I couldn't afford making payments with my Eclipse convertible, so I was driving around hiding a little bit there. I wound up losing in that period, I don't know how, but $330,000. It was a swing of $330,000 from 1999 to 2001.
In 2 years.
And
is that
amazing.
Is that from gambling or just gambling plus your lifestyle plus like the whole ball and wax? You went.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Absolutely. It was a combination of things because you know what? You get very lonely too, so you do whatever it takes to have good company. And I'm a decent looking guy, so that wasn't, but still the emptiness, the lifestyle was there. And it started cute. It was like, okay, let me go down one day. I mean, you know what's scary and sick? I'm being a supervisor, moving up with this other company, tremendous. And after that divorce, there I am trading on, one of the gambling sites, not gambling sites, but one of the stock exchange sites. And I'm doing it in front of everybody, not giving a shit. I should be working.
So now it seems like it's almost like you live in two lives, and now you don't even seem to care. Now you're like in the open with it. You're just like, hey, I'm just going to do this, and I don't even care who sees that I'm just right in plain sight now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it freaked me out because I didn't know what I was doing. Let me put 50,000. I thought I was doing the right thing. I tried to do the right thing, but when you don't know much about that doesn't hurt. And plus, my compulsion was opening up more. I took 500 down to Atlantic City, took a day off. Next thing you know, I took Fridays off, and then now it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know what I mean? I took 1,000. Now I took and before you know, the 50,000 still in the mutual funds, and that's gambling too. It's all gambling, but that's in there, and I'm living a lifestyle and losing. My losses are increasing. I turn around. Finally, I look at my Oppenheimer stocks went from that was that period of time where it was terrible. And the next thing you know is I virtually lost almost everything in there. I think it went from 50,000 to 28,000, and then before you know it, I panicked and I grabbed another 15,000 and tried to go double it to win back. Mm-hmm. Oh, what a mess!
So that 50 then is gone. Then it sounds like
it's gone. Yeah, but it was. I'm sorry to say that it was a rush. It was fun. I said I justified myself being the biggest fool. You do that, and everybody's going to be different. You're going to have spouses that are going to say, "Honey, why you? I see you." They're going to see the gambling, but please be aware of the children. I mean, to me, that's. Not only do I go way back when, but I remember when I was like 20, 25, and I used to sit next to Ben Affleck down in Atlantic City, and he was betting $50 a hand. And so, you never know who has, the disease.
Well, $50 is pretty low. I thought you were going to say 50,000. So even Ben Affleck is only going $50 a shot. He wants to get
over
that
and over 50. But he was 20. He was younger than me, so he was like 24. So think about it. He was 24, 23 years old, and he was, and he was. Ben, that's why he always says he's going. Nothing against Ben, but you keep on hearing him with his secret addictions of alcohol, but. Truthfully, it's probably gambling just as evenly.
So now you're now you're kind of. I get a feeling there's an unraveling going on now. Now you lose that 50, you go through 300,000, you blow through that in about 3 years. You're into 2003. You're open about it. Your stock market's going down. All right. So what's happening now? Now it sounds like it's almost getting to the bottom.
I mean, you know what? I couldn't get a job, all the degrees, my mind was all over the place. And again, the focus, it was like 2 or 3 jobs. I got the jobs, beautiful jobs. And, within a year, I just couldn't refocus. And that's the important part, right? Focusing on a career. My focus was how to get more money and go gamble.
Right. The downward slide now. I mean, Is it to the point of, I guess, at some point you're going to wake up to it.
Yeah.
When you're going through it, I mean, like the angel part of your brain, does it say, Ron, this just isn't right? I mean, like you must know it isn't right, or don't you get that feeling?
Yeah. I don't want to make excuses, because you know what? I'm just sharing what I felt and what I experienced, There's no justification of losing everything you had. But by then, remember something. I had isolated myself from the family. I was embarrassed. I couldn't. All this information, all this technological, all this. And you know what? And then I found myself, truthfully, driving a cab, which is not bad. I mean, it's a clean job, right?
Okay, so then now you're out of corporate America. You're driving a taxi cab, which is okay. Sounds like, right? I mean, you can make money out of it.
It sounds okay, but right. I'm a hustler, so I'm going to work hard and I'm going to do whatever.
Okay.
But the next thing you know is I would bust my chops, unlimited hours. I worked a deal out with them. It was amazing. I mean, I just worked. At the end of the week, they made good money. I made good money. I took that money, and by the next day, it was the same thing. Go down to Atlantic City, get you this. By then, Atlantic City loved me so much that, he was just sweet again, Mr. Trout, waiting for you.
Wow. So they treated you to sweets. So you were like you were a big shot gambler then.
Right. Well, to them,
you were living the life over there.
They loved it. It was like, Mr. Trout, here's all the free food for the week, whatever you need. And you know what? I mean, I was before then. I was pampering myself with the steam room massages, this and that. It was just it was two different worlds when I went. As soon as I got in the car going down there after leaving the taxi world or whatever, that the comfort was there. I was in heaven. I knew I was going to get in front of that slot machine with my two packs of cigarettes and my staying up all night eating my fried chicken or whatever else is bad for you. So again, I'm not proud. I'm just sharing.
So you're driving down there, and you're excited because this is like, hey, this is I get that pumped feeling. I get to eat. I get that steam room massage, whatever it is. That's how insidious this disease is. It's making you feel great as you go to lose all your money, basically.
It was the same pattern, right? Here I go, a chunk of my. What's shameful too? Say I busted my butt off in the cab world, worked really hard, made $500 to $700 a week. So I'm busting my chops, and as I'm leaving, I'm just like, you know what? I could have made another 100 to whatever, but I wound up rushing instead. It was always the same thing: a nice big fare, then let me get out of there. So I would rush down there, and we had an agreement. I take their vehicle, just I lease it from them per week, and they take care of any problems with the van. Mm-hmm. I don't know. By the time I got down there, you're absolutely right. Hopefully the van made it. Let's see, my ripped jeans were ripped and all that. I mean,
what was your biggest win? Did you ever win like $50,000 or anything really huge? I mean, what was your biggest one day win there? Just curious.
Well, for me, my biggest one day, I wound up winning like 15. I went from card games, blackjack, which I did pretty good, but I just started playing and fooling around with slots and got a little lucky there too, whatever you want to call it. But I won a little over 15,000 in slots, $10,000 jackpot, and that was quick money. Boom.
Okay.
And
okay.
And with that, I rushed and I gave it to my brother. I was like in cloud nine, and I gave it to my brother and family. Said, "Hold this for me, please." Went back, of course.
It's so crazy, Ron. It sounds like almost like the casino wants you to win to get you keep going back. I mean, because you got to win, I guess, a little bit.
You can see the craziness involved. I mean, it's just it's more and more and more. And remember, what's happening with the social life as this goes on? What's happening with so many other things? And in my case, it's that. I'll tell you. In my case, that's why I try to share. I try to share the whole picture. You can't just look at what happened when I was 18 or what happened when I was there. You can't just look what happened this week or last week. I mean, I've come a long ways. just doing the right things. But yeah, I was working in a cab. I'm not proud. I kept it clean, but I wound up sleeping in the cab. All I wanted was to find a place to park and, not be bothered. I mean, that's pretty spooky,
Now, where were you living? Did you have a house, or were you with your family, or like what's your living conditions?
No,
like?
I was a very, very sick, compulsive person, and I didn't rent anywhere. I didn't bother. I didn't care. I didn't want to waste money on. Why should I want to waste money on living? I gamble,
So everything went to the gambling, and you're thinking, why would I rent a place to stay? I might as well just sleep in the car, and then save that money.
Why not sleep in the car for 2 or 3 days, and then go down to Atlantic City, live like a king 2 or 3 or 4 days, and
how often, Ron, would you go to Atlantic City? How often? Like at a 7-day week?
Oh,
how often?
Oh, I would go. This is what I used to love doing. I would work my butt off. All of a sudden, I'd work, make good money. Saturday morning, I'd make a chunk of money in the morning. Then I'd take my trip out to Atlantic City. I would go down there and I wouldn't get a room because most people, I mean, that's where the big business is, right? So most people would be paying $200, $300, $400 a room for a Saturday night. I'm like, why not just gamble? Let me just stay up and gamble. I'm going to gamble till 2, 3, 4 anyway. So I would gamble, and then if I was tired, I'd go in the car, lock the door, and take a little nap in the garage. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. A couple hours there, and then the next morning oh, Mr. Trout, here, 6 in the morning. Here's your room. We got a room for you. We got this. And, they would hook me up, and I would just go to the room and relax for a while. But then for the next 2 days, I would be gambling. So, same thing. I'd gamble until I don't know how many times I brought 500 and was up 1,000 but before you know, that wasn't a lot of money. It's not even the money anymore. It doesn't matter. I've been to so many GA meetings, and that's why, in my case, they use the name like Ron T. They don't want to give out too many names. I don't care if it's gambling or drugs or alcohol, but people want to share, right? But it just, as I was saying, it didn't matter. None of that mattered. Just so I was in front of a machine, it could have been a penny, it could have been $10,000 I was betting. In gambling on, you sit down, you talk, you listen to the families, you listen to the gamblers, and there's so many people that the only difference is they gamble more money. If you have more money, you're going to gamble more money. So
does that help Gamblers Anonymous?
You know what? The only way I went, and my ex-wife, who's such a wonderful person and good mother, she went to Gambling Anonymous. She tried to, I didn't realize how ugly my disease was and how much just people were trying to help me. Mm-hmm. But you know what? It didn't matter. You learn to be a liar. You learn to find sneaky ways to do things. You know what I mean? I'm going here, and I'm doing this. Even when you're single, you're lying. And what happened was with my lifestyle, that's why it's important too. With my lifestyle, by the way, I knew one guy that bet $50,000 on the Giants, and I was driving a cab, and he goes, "Yeah, but my wife's kind of proud of me because, I didn't do the cocaine and all that stuff." So he goes, "Yeah, I normally binge like big time."
Now, was this a New York Giant? Did you say?
No. It wasn't a player. It was just a gentleman that, regular Joe that enjoyed his drugs. Okay. But he was starting to replace his drugs with, there's a lot of people, a lot of generations in this generation, they're replacing, like I said before, the drugs and the alcohol for gambling. Meeting rooms are emptying out with teenagers, 21, 25. Parents were proud they were going to GA or Alcohol Anonymous. The one gentleman I met, he was proud. He goes, "Hey, I didn't do no cocaine. I did bet $50,000 on the Giants and lost, but at least I didn't do cocaine." I mean, to listen to the mentality is crazy. I did pretty good. Let me back up a little bit. So my lifestyle was living living like a bum a few days in a car, and then, whatever need be. I'd go to the bathrooms in the car, gas stations, and wash up. And it was, of course, it was ugly and dirty. But I wound up with a continuous lifestyle like that, Ray. It was just a matter of time till my body collapsed.
Now, did you get used to this lifestyle? Then I'm going to talk about that too.
Okay.
Is it all of a sudden it's like the new normal? Like, hey, this is Ron T's lifestyle. Like, I live in a taxi cab. I wash in the gas station, and then on the weekend they treat me like a king at the casino. Then I do it again next week. Is it like a new normal that you don't even realize that this is like out of whack?
You know what? It's there, but you don't care. In your mind, you're like, okay, so how can I stop? I mean, for years, that's all been, how many times have I seen, I even wrote my little poem called, Son, Take My Advice. If you get the chance, you better toss the dice. It's about throwing away the gambling world and living the real life. But, it became a norm. It became, nothing else mattered. There was no way I could stop it. I had no excuses, but I don't know how many times I said, okay, let me start over. And it's very painful because could you imagine having $400 or $500, $1,000, or a lot more than that in your pocket, and then being penniless the next day, not even being able to buy yourself a hot fudge sundae or brand new underwear or something. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? It's disgusting. But
now let me hear about the toll it's taking. You were talking about that. Tell me about that. How this toll is, the toll on your body, mentally, the whole thing now starts to take effect. Tell me about that.
Right. I didn't realize it, but in my aspect, of course, when you're younger, you don't listen about the cigarette smoking, the gambling, the stress, the everything possible. But absolutely. For a year and a half back in, 2010, I was getting lightheaded. Oh, God, I'd be out of breath. I thought it was emphysema. I was like, oh, my goodness. Looking back, I would say driving that cab too, sitting the way you sat, no exercise. I wound up, my whole body practically collapsed. It wasn't emphysema. I'm looking back, all of a sudden, for 2 years, lightheaded, dizzy.
Were you a big time smoker too?
Oh God, that's all I wanted. I would enjoy 3 packs of cigarettes, 2 packs, maybe 3 in the course of one day.
That was part 1 in my harrowing interview with Ron T. He continues spiraling downhill on part 2. Listen as he recovers, has divine inspiration on a heart transplant, and turns his life around. Friday, June 28th. Join us.